Hey, welcome to the Playful Warrior Academy. My name is Damien, and we help small and medium martial arts clubs get bigger, basically. So, before we go on to the increasing your value, so what you do in your club versus how much you charge for it, I want to show you the importance of charging properly to begin with. So, in my previous video, we discussed little bits and pieces with regards to this. We alluded to this, and I'm going to show you why it's important. Because a lot of people in the early days, not so much anymore, but I'm still seeing it. In fact, I had this conversation with somebody earlier, literally this morning, which is what's prompted this video, is the importance of your price and why playing the cheaper than everybody else game is a really bad idea. Which might seem counterproductive to some of you, especially where inflation is going up and we have a cost of living crisis, and so the temptation might be to kind of like be a cheaper price point. But if you're paying attention, then look at what's happening with the bigger guys. Okay, so we've got the likes of Walmart and McDonald's and all of these big companies who, I'm not going to lie, even I thought couldn't fail at some stage. They are consistently posting less and less profit each quarter. And the reason for this being because they are caught in a rock and a hard place. They can't increase their prices because they are the people you go to when you want something cheap. You don't go to McDonald's for the quality of their food. You don't go to Walmart looking for high-end stuff. You go there looking for the cheap stuff. And it's becoming increasingly more difficult for them to provide that service at a cheap price point. And this is exactly where those people who are charging more will actually come out on top in the long run. And it's exactly the same for your martial arts club. So watch this. So let's say that you are somebody who charges £20 per calendar month. One class a week or unlimited classes, whatever, that almost doesn't matter. This is insanely low, by the way. I'm just using this to prove a point. If you're charging this, fair play if you're not full-time. Not really talking to you guys. I'm talking to the people who either want to go full-time or are doing this full-time. So first off, let's say that you're either going or want to be full-time. £20 per calendar month. In my experience with hall rentals or whatever it is you do, whether you lease out a place and you've turned it into a dojo, you are going to need a ridiculous number of students just to pay the bills, let alone paying yourself afterwards. So it's just way too low. Like you need hundreds of students at this price point. Not only that, but it's the quality of customer that you're getting. So if you're here, the likelihood is that somebody joined you based on price. Okay? So they joined you because you're cheap. The problem is let's say that there's a part-time guy around the corner, just opens up, and they're doing it at £15 per calendar month. Let's say it's another kickboxing club. Let's say you're kickboxing, they're kickboxing. Because your customers joined on price, unless they've got an affinity for you, whoop, they're going to jump ship. Well, they're only charging 15 quid, and because I joined you because you were cheap, I didn't join you because of what you're offering, I'm going to move. So you're going to lose a portion of your students, which is a big problem because you need a lot of students in order to pay the bills at this price. So let's take it a different example. Let's say that the cost of living continues to rise, and because these people joined on price, and all of a sudden they believe that they can no longer afford this, they're also going to leave you because of the price. Well, £20 is now a bit out of my budget. I can't really afford it. You're just an after-school club. Bye-bye. We're going to go and do something cheaper, or something that we deem is more important. And the reason they deem it more important is because you've literally told your customer you're only worth £20 a month. And so if swimming is £50 a month, in their head, that's more expensive. Therefore, that is more valuable. So let's say now that you are right on the other end of the scale, £100 per calendar month. Okay? Do you think the types of people that you're attracting are joining you based on your price point? The answer is absolutely not. Because many of these people might not be able to join you on £100 per calendar month. What they're joining you for, provided you can show it, and this is what the next video is going to be, they are joining you based on the value that you provide to either them or their children, and the way that they know that you are a more valuable school is because you charge better. Not going to say more. Yes, it's more, but you charge better. So let's say that the cost of living keeps going up. Do you think that people who join on value are going to leave you because you have to increase your price? No. So let's say that the same kickboxing club comes along and they open up for £15 per calendar month. Do you think that the people based on value are going to jump ship because of price? Absolutely not. They are going to stick with you. They're not going to jump ship because they didn't join you based on your price in the first place. Yes, you will have less students, but you can do 5 times more with one student than what you can with a £20 per calendar month. So you need 5 times less students if your goal is to do the same thing. So it's the difference between 100 students and 500 students. Now, obviously, these are very far apart. There are very few clubs, I should hope, that are charging this low. But this gives you the general idea. So if you're charging £100 per calendar month and your customers are joining you because of the value that you provide, not the price that you charge, A, they're not going to jump ship when somebody cheaper opens up literally right next door. And B, if the cost of living crisis keeps going up, inflation keeps going up, they are already paying a premium. They see you as valuable, they're going to keep you. Not only that, but they're the types of people who can afford to keep you. Okay? Now, these are really far apart. Obviously, you might want to come somewhere in the middle and charge, say, like £50 per calendar month. And you might want to do a staggered system where you also do like £65, but that's for your unlimited prices. And so you've got an option. And so if things get a bit tight, they could go from 65 to 50, or vice versa. It's like, actually, I really enjoy this, so they can go from 50 to 65. Again, getting your organization more revenue. But I kind of say this is like the lowest you want to go. Going much lower than this, and you're kind of in this area here. It's a little dangerous. Some of your students, let's say £45 a month. Some of your students might deem it as a bit much and leave. Some of your students might be like, well, that's actually really good value for money because of what they provide my children and or myself. And so this price game is really important. And as Walmart and McDonald's and Wilkinson's in the UK, they were a cheap and cheerful company. They went out of business because they're on the price market. They're not on the quality or value market. Back in the day when I was a kid, it would have been Woolworths, the same thing. Their offerings got worse and worse because they couldn't keep their prices low, and so they couldn't bring in the same products that you might go to Woolworths. They couldn't be competitive. See, what a lot of people think is they think that by doing a cheaper price, they're being competitive. It's like, yes, you are on price, but you can do a lot less with this. And so eventually, when things do keep rising, because things are not going to go backwards, things are not going to get back to the point where fuel is under £1, as an example. Like, we're never going to see that again. So holding on to the hope that inflation is going to come down is very foolish. Holding on to the hope that things are going to get better is equally as foolish, because then you're putting the control of your club's future in the hands of someone else who's in charge of inflation, the government, and all this, that, and the other. That's a very foolish place to be. You need to be in charge. The only way that you can do that is by raising your prices, but you've got to make sure your value matches, which is what the next video is going to be about, and therefore you will still be in business in a few years' time. If you're still around here, 20, 25, 35, you need to get off that. If you're wondering how, go back to my previous video where we discussed 2/3 ways that you can raise your prices without alienating your club. Short one today, because this, albeit, is a very big sticking point for martial arts instructors and clubs instructors. This is a very simple concept. So I'm not saying go in at 100 quids, because if your value is not there, they're just going to look at £100 and go, what am I getting for that? If you're only offering like, oh, we teach you how to punch and kick, it's like, great. Okay, fine, that's 20 quid. But if you're offering much more on top of that in terms of the things that we say we do in our marketing, like building confidence and developing the leaders of the future, it's like, yeah, we're up here now. So next time, we're going to be talking about how to increase your value, the systems that we use. Again, you can ignore, you can take, you can steal, you can adapt, but we're going to be talking about how we increase our value. Today's just about price. That's a very simple one. So I'll see you on the next. So today we're going to be looking at something very specific, something that I know a lot of people can struggle with. I visit a lot of schools, and honestly, it seems to be one of those things that a lot of people have a hang up on, but not the successful schools. So it is how we raise our prices if you've never done it before, or if you always feel a little bit every single time we do. So I'm simply going to go through 3 ways in which you can do it. Now, the reason I say 2 is because one way you kind of might have already missed the boat, but it's not too late in the sense that you can implement it later. So, option number 1, when somebody joins, make it clear to them that every single year their price will go up. Now, this is something that when you first start your organization or your club, you might want to think about and bring it in. Obviously, if you've already started, it can be a little harder, but it's not all that difficult. Basically, what you need to do is say, hey, look, we've noticed over the years, especially with inflation and everything's going up dramatically, we need to increase our prices every year. Now, one of the best ways that you can do this is kind of the same way that like your phone bill might do it. If you ever read the small print, a lot of people don't. It stipulates, or it says, that your contract may increase in price in line with the Bank of England inflation rate, or a percentage, and it's usually whichever is higher. So if the interest rate only goes up like 0.5%, but you have a standing of we're going to increase it by 2% every year. This is just an example to make the numbers easy. Then it'll go up by 2%. Or if the inflation rate is 6%, then it'll go up by 6%. So it's usually whichever's highest. So that's a really handy thing that you can have if you are just starting. If you've already started, then it's a really good kind of thing to bring in. It's like you can just literally just say to your students, and they won't mind because everybody does it. We appreciate that inflation goes up, and so too must our prices. And so long as you can explain to them in a way that makes sense, rather than, I'm going to put prices up 10% each year because that's what I want to do in terms of a pay rise every year. If you mention that it's because of the cost of living and inflation going up, that means that your hall rentals or your dojo rentals, the cost of uniforms, the cost of everything has gone up, and so your prices have to as well, simply to stay in line with inflation. Because remember, even if you pay yourself the same every single month or every single year, technically, if you never give yourself a pay rise, you get paid less every year because inflation goes up, but your wages aren't matching it. And so that's one thing that you can bring in, but it's better to bring it in if you haven't yet started. So now, on to the main 2. Now, number 1, and this is something that I got from Matt. He's very blunt, Matt Chapman, if you don't know him. Quite simply, just do it. Go to your students and say, we are increasing our prices. Our prices were, say, 20, 30, 40 pounds per calendar month. We are now increasing it to, say, 45 pounds per calendar month or 50 pounds per calendar month. Now, it's not the action that's difficult. What we often struggle with is our mindset, because we come from, and I'm talking generally, if you're old enough, we come from a background where it's like, I used to pay my instructor, I don't know, a £5 for a class. It was in a white envelope. And that's just the thing that we did. Or in my case, it was £20 per class at one point, but that was one-on-one tuition, but it was still cash in an envelope handed to the instructor each class. If I didn't turn up, he didn't get paid. And that's the problem with cash. It's why we don't do it. So it's not that you're putting the prices up that's the issue. What the problem is that feeling that you get when you talk about money. And that's more what we've got to get over. It's all about mindset, and people talk about mindset all the time, but I'm here to give you 2 ways that you can actually put the prices up. So the first one, the one we're talking about right now, is go to your students, simply tell them everything has gone up in price, and that's not a lie. Your hall rentals have gone up in price. The cost of your belts have gone up. The cost of your uniforms have gone up. The costs of your time has gone up. The costs of your fuel, if you're traveling to class, has gone up. The cost of electricity, therefore washing your uniform. And it might seem like I'm being very pernickety, and my camera is doing some weirdo things with its focus, so I'm going to lock that focus out next time. But what you've got to bear in mind is that if you're a sole trader, all of these little costs add up. Washing your uniform, the maintenance of your uniform, getting to and from class, buying new gear, rentals for the halls, uniforms for your students, t-shirts and stuff in the shop, if that's what you do. Everything matters. And some of us are way too easily just going to, well, it's fuel. I'm traveling anyway. It doesn't matter. I got to stop moving. That camera's driving me nuts. It doesn't really matter. And so, whatever, we're just going to keep it as it is. We want to be competitive. It's like, honestly, mate, being competitive on price is one of the worst things you can do, but I'm going to discuss that in another video. So that's option number one. I call it the Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman's very blunt. I love him to bits. He's brilliant. He would just go ahead and put the prices up. That is something you're going to need to do if you don't have many members. You cannot afford to do a staggered or delayed price increase, which is option number two, and it's what we've done. Now, we have hundreds of students, so we're very fortunate. We can afford to do this, but we still need to increase our prices. So what I've done recently at the beginning of the year, and this is option number two, is a staggered price increase. I went to the student body. I didn't ask, I told them. I was like, our prices are going up, but it's only going to go up £5 per person. So we do family discounts. You may or may not do that. It doesn't really matter. But everybody's prices are going up £5 per person, which means that, if you were doing 45, you're now doing £50. Same service, more money. And I said, 100% of our operational costs, hall rentals, instructors, upkeep, equipment, replacement, fuel is probably my biggest expense, but I do travel to schools that are far away because we have multiple. All of that has increased. And so as a result, we have no choice. We have to increase our prices because we don't have a policy whereby we will increase our price every year. And so the staggered, though, because we have so many students, and you might be happy with this, especially if you don't need to for your wages. Let's say that you're a part-time instructor, you have a day job, but you teach in the evening. You might have this option again. But if you need to increase your prices, it's your full-time job, it's not cutting it anymore, you're going to have to, boom, just straight away. Inform by this date, so the beginning of, say, 2 months' time. In 2 months' time, everybody's prices are going up. Give them plenty of notice. But what we did is I said, right, we have hundreds of students. Rather than having to bump the price up massively for all of you, what we're doing is we're going to spread the cost, the increase, across the organization. And so we're increasing everybody's monthly subscription by a £5. It means that everything else can kind of stay the same. T-shirts and hoodies and gradings, whatever, that can all stay the same. But we're going to start with the black belts. Each month, we're going to do a different bunch of belts. So we start at the top and we explain the reason that we've done it the black belts to the white belts is so that the black belts who've been here the longest and they've been able to take advantage of our really good prices the longest, they're going to go up in price first. And therefore, the white belts who've just joined before the price increase, they get to take advantage of it for a little bit longer because it's the white belts that will increase the price on last. But it also allows everybody to be like, okay, cool, you're doing it in a nice, fair way. It's staggered. The new people who've just joined on your old price don't feel like it's like, hey, last week it was 45 quid, this week it's 50 quid, or last week it was 90 quid, this week it's 100 quid. They're not too worried about that, which is nice because it gives them a good amount of time to expect it. But anybody who joins after the price increase, so brand new white belts who have not yet joined, that's whatever your increased price is. They don't get the new price because they're new customers. They join at whatever that price is. And I have the same policy for returning customers. So if a student quits or leaves for some other reason other than health, so if somebody has a health issue, they have to take time out for an injury to let that heal, we will let them rejoin on their old price until we've increased the price on their particular belt. But for all returning students, we're the same. It's like when you rejoin at whatever the price is at that point in time. It's just a really nice policy to have. Because then when somebody rejoins and it's all of a sudden £10 more expensive than what they were paying last time, they already know because they know that the price has gone up and that's what they have to expect. So in short, and I will keep it short, those are the three options that you have. Option one, build into your contracts or your agreements, and if you don't have them, then just verbalize it, because I know that some of you people out there still do backs transfers every month. God, that must be laborious. Or cash in hand. No. Get away from that. But number one, have it in your contract. Every year, it's going to go up by either 3, 4, 6%, whatever that percentage is, or which the inflation rate, whichever is highest. Option 2 is you just tell everybody, this is probably better for smaller schools. Look, we're increasing our prices across the board, and this is the new price, but it's going to go up in 2 months. Gives people a chance to get used to it. Option 3 works better if A, you're a larger organization and you can stomach the cost for a little bit, or you don't do it as your main job. So, you have a day job that pays the bills, and so this is just something that you do on the side because you want to give back to your community. You can stagger it through the ranks. Highest rank first because they've taken advantage for the longest of your cheaper prices, and then working your way down to the white belts, just making sure all new students who join are on the new price straight away. Now, the reason I say mindset, and this is the really important thing, is, and I was having this discussion with one of my new instructors because we're recruiting instructors and training them up. Think about it. For many of you, you have been in this game longer than me. I've been training for 22 years, only teaching for 12. Some of you can double that time. That's like how long you've been in the martial arts business. So you have, say, 10, 20, 30, 40 years of martial arts experience, and you're then going to provide that service, your expertise and your knowledge for a $5 a class. You are massively cheapening your art, you're massively cheapening your skill, and you are seriously cheapening your school. And that's a shame. And that's where the mindset's got to switch. Most of us are stuck. I shouldn't say most, actually. We've seen some really positive changes over the years. Some of us are stuck in the sense that I shouldn't charge because it's about giving back to the community. And some of us are like, well, I kind of need to charge more because otherwise I'm going to go out of business. And here's the plain and simple truth. If you go out of business, doesn't matter how cheap you were giving back to the community, you don't have a school anymore. So you can forget giving anything to the community. You have no club. So before that happens, I would strongly urge you to take a look at your operational costs against what you need to bring in. And if they're not matching up, then pick one of those 3 options, or even better, pick one of the 2 options and implement the first one that I was talking about anyway. Just make sure that you do it and give them plenty of notice. Now, so as I record this, we're in May 2024. Now would be a great time to tell everybody from 2025 onwards, we are going to increase the prices by either the Bank of England inflation rate or 3%, whichever is highest at the time. I hope that helps. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about how to bring your cost and value proposition, because a lot of the time, the reason that we have an issue with raising prices is because we feel that the value that we're offering is worth a certain amount. And so we're going to be talking about cost versus value. And if you're offering more value, then you can increase your cost. But I'm going to be talking about how we offer more value. But take away from this video, many of you are already offering far more value than what you're charging for, because you've got 10, 20, 30, 40 years experience, and you're giving that experience, well, you are basically giving it away for like a $5 a class or 25 quid a class. It's like you've had more training than what doctors are. So let's get on with it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care for now. So today I'm going to share with you 14 ways that you can offer more value in your club, and it's going to be in 10 minutes or less, which for those of you who know me, that's a significant try because I like to talk. So ready? Here we go. So 14 ways in 10 minutes a martial arts school or club can add value to their services, thereby justifying an increase in prices. Number 1, advanced training programs. Offer specialized programs such as self-defense workshops, weapons training, or advanced sparring classes. These exclusive programs can attract dedicated students willing to pay more for higher level. Also, if you have students, you can recommend them onto these programs, like the weapons programs or advanced classes, because they might be getting a little bit bored with your existing program, and therefore you can charge them a little bit more. We do this. We have a weapons program. we charge them an extra £20 per calendar month in order to join. Number 2, nutrition and fitness guidance. Incorporate nutrition and fitness consulting into your curriculum. Offering meal plans, fitness routines, and wellness workshops can position your school as a holistic martial arts and wellness center. You can either do this yourself, which means you're going to have to get educated, but you're trying to be more valuable, so you're going to have to get educated at some point, or you can find somebody who can do this for you. But bearing in mind, you'll have to cut them in. Number 3, special events and seminars. Host seminars with guest instructors, workshops on specific techniques, and motivational talks by renowned martial artists. Exclusive access to these events can be a strong value addition. Whether you charge for them or whether you have it included in your price is entirely up to you. I'd charge extra for the seminars. Okay, number 4, comprehensive belt testing and certification. Develop a rigorous and well-recognized certification process for belt testing. Detailed feedback, professional certificates, and formal ceremonies that can enhance the perceived value of the ranking system itself, whether you're part of an organization or whether you're an independent. Number 5, community and family programs. Create family-oriented classes and community events. Programs like parent and child training sessions or community self-defense days can build a strong engagement community willing to invest more in their membership. Spoiler alert, I could get rid of all my programs tomorrow and only do my family classes, and I would still make a decent profit. In fact, if I did that, I would probably end up making more. Our family class is by far the busiest and most popular class that we offer, and it's not even close. Number 6, digital resources and online classes, especially post-2020. Offer a library of online training videos, live stream classes, and digital resources. These additional learning tools can provide value for members who want to practice outside of the regular classes. Now, we offer a free video copy of our curriculum. You could charge for it. It's entirely up to you, but the point is it's there. Okay, number 7, exclusive member benefits. Provide exclusive benefits such as discounts on gear, free guest passes, priority of registration for popular classes. Members only perks can enhance the value of your membership packages. Number 8, health and wellness integration. Partner with local health professionals to offer services like sports massage, physical therapy, or mental health workshops. Integrating these services can promote overall wellness and justify a premium price point. You can either get them to have a discount with sports massage if you get a deal with them, or it could be something that you offer as part of your service where a sports masseuse, whatever you call them these days, will come into your organization and offer a service like every Thursday between these hours. So how you do it's up to you, but it's a really good one to have. Number 9, leadership and instructor programs. Massive one. Develop leadership training and instructor certification programs, providing pathways for your students to become assistant instructors or full-fledged teachers, which can enhance their commitment to the perceived value of your school. It also means that you will have staff for the future. Just to give you an example, I have reached a stage where people I used to train who are 5 and 7 years old, I'm now paying them to teach classes because I've been doing it for that long. And some of you out there have been doing it longer than me. But make sure you have a process that they can follow so they know exactly where they are in that process. It's just like having a grading system, white to black. So with us, you've got 6 different ranks in the instructor process, and therefore when you get to the end, you can do your own classes. And obviously they've got set things that they need to learn during those times. But in the meantime, even in rank number 1, they are still helping you in class, which means your classes can get a bit busier, they can get a bit bigger because you can leave them with their own small groups. Happy days. Number 10, customized training plans. Create personalized training plans tailored to individual goals, whether for competition, fitness, or self-defense. Custom plans demonstrate a commitment to each student's unique journey. Now, if you've got like 300, 400, 500 students, then obviously you're not going to want to write 500 different plans. What you can do is take like one that's based around sparring, you can tweak it and offer it to lots of different people. So once you've initially done the work gets easier because you just have to tweak your existing plans rather than create the new ones. But if you're just setting off, it's going to be a lot of work for you to start with. Just get it done. Number 11, professional development opportunities. Offer workshops on public speaking, teaching skills, and professional development areas. These skills can be beneficial both within and outside the martial arts context, adding significant value to your membership. Spoiler alert, this is part of our 6-stage development program for our instructors. So we teach this already, but we teach it in the instructor program. You might want to just offer it to the whole school. Number 12, recognition and awards programs. Establish a robust recognition program with awards for achievements, milestones, and contributions. Regular award ceremonies and public recognition can motivate students and add prestige to your school. We have this as part of our personal development program, but we also have it at the end of year ceremony where we have more of like awards voted for the students by the parents and the students, and there's a prestige award that only the instructors vote upon. But it's massive, it's huge, and it's really, really important. It's also great for social media because you get to take lots of photos every time one of your students hits a milestone. Okay, high quality merchandise and gear. Develop and sell high quality branded merchandise, including uniforms, training gear, and casual wear. Offering premium products can enhance the overall experience and loyalty of your students. Basically, get a shop. Make sure that you fill that shop with things that your students want. We offer obviously sparring gear and uniforms and t-shirts, and we even do shorts for the hot weather like it is today. But we also provide hoodies and casual wear as well. But again, you're going to have to kind of like feel your way with that. If you haven't got the money to do your own brand, then just do white label to start with and maybe move to it later. White label is simply where you go and find non-branded gear and you put your brand on it and you sell that. But it can still be high quality stuff. It doesn't have to be cheap like Fruit of the Loom from back in the day. Okay, so, although they're still around. Last one, 14, feedback and improvement programs. This is massive. Implement regular feedback mechanisms such as surveys, suggestion boxes, and periodic reviews. Actively seeking and acting on feedback shows commitment to continuous improvement and student satisfaction. When was the last time you did a survey with your parents or your members to see what they like, what they don't like, what they want more of, what they'd prefer less of? You can't change everything, because if they turn around and say we'd like less gradings, probably not going to happen. But it'll give you an idea of what they're happy with and what they're not happy with. It also shows that you care and you are actively trying to improve the organization. So there it is. Yes. I have a time check, please. That is 14 things that you can do to improve your value in less than 10 minutes, I'd like to add. And it also means that you can charge a higher price point, because what you want is your value to be above what your price is, or your perceived value. Because remember, it's not what you value, it's what your customers value. And so if they think that you are worth this and you're charging this, happy days. If it's this way around, not a good time. If you're already doing this and you're charging like 30, 40, 50 pounds a month, then up your prices. Way, way, way too cheap. Until next time. Hey folks, Damien again. If you have been enjoying this series of videos, then by all means, comment, like, share, all that jazz. But also feel free to book me in or contact me for a seminar. We do seminars, we travel the United Kingdom, and we help small and medium clubs grow. I come in, I have a look at all your systems, I listen to your feedback about what you want to change, what you're struggling with, and we help you with that. And after the day, after the seminar, after the intervention, if you like, it's not really, we don't like to change too much because we want to make sure that you keep your feel of your school, but you also get support after that day as well. So if you'd like it, then simply hook us up, and I'll see you soon. Hey folks, Damien again. If you have been enjoying this series of videos, then by all means, comment, like, share, all that jazz. But also feel free to book me in or contact me for a seminar. We do seminars, we travel the United Kingdom, and we help small and medium clubs grow. I come in, I have a look at all your systems, I listen to your feedback about what you want to change, what you're struggling with, and we help you with that. And after the day, after the seminar, after the intervention, if you like, it's not really, we don't like to change too much because we want to make sure that you keep your feel of your school, but you also get support after that day as well. So if you'd like it, then simply hook us up, and I'll see you soon.